My name is Christian Peter, and thank you for joining us. Today, what we're going to be going over is the all-time biggest objection that most brokers get and agents get when they say, when they're talking to a prospect that is looking to potentially list a building is, great, okay, I don't want to list with anybody exclusively, or just go out and find a buyer and I'll pay you X, Y, Z. What do you do in that situation? So stay tuned and we'll go ahead and hop right on into it. You've done the busy work. You've done the hard work of identifying someone. You researched them. You took the time to call and sometimes follow up multiple times. And finally, you secure the listing meeting. You go there, you do your absolute best presentation possible. And then you get the dreaded objection of, oh, I really like what you're saying. Makes a ton of sense. I really want to sell. But either A, I had a bad experience with a previous agent. B, just go ahead and bring me, somebody and I'll pay you a commission. Or C, I'm not sure I want to, go through the whole process of listing again. Something along those lines, right? You guys, 80+% of the time, that's what it comes down to, right? Most people came to where you are. Let's say you're hunting an expired, for instance, right? Most people are in that position because their previous agent didn't do their job. They're in that position because they weren't successful last go round. So they're a little skittish this time around. So most of us can understand that, right? And let's say you pull everything out of your bag of tricks that you possibly know how to do, and you still don't get the listing. Well, today I have a solution for you that can help you with what to say in that scenario. What words should come out of your mouth? So maybe you can't get the exclusive, but you can get the very, very next best thing to getting an exclusive, right? So what is that? It's what I like to call, kind of like lovingly, the wink, wink listing, because it's not an exclusive listing, but it's a wink, wink exclusive listing, if you're with me, right? This strategy, the way we lay it out, and if you really think about it conceptually, it's about 90% as good as a regular commercial exclusive listing, right? What do we mean by that? Well, think of it this way. When you're putting your properties on the market, right? Where are the biggest portals where properties get sold, right? You've got, for the most part, you got LoopNet, you got CoStar, you got Crexi, you got MLS, you got your blast list, right? Okay. And frankly, very few properties that I've ever listed sold directly through MLS exposure. It was usually a combination of LoopNet, CoStar, Crexi, or my blast list, right? So if you really, really think about it, 90% of people, okay, let's say 10% of buyers come from the MLS, right? But 90% of your buyers for one of your listings is going to come from those 4 platforms, right? LoopNet, CoStar, Crexi, and your blast list. Sure. Okay, so what if you could create a scenario where you get an agreement with the seller to sell at a prescribed price and earn a prescribed commission, and you can get them to agree to that as long as you bring the right buyer. Okay. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to detail that today. Now, as a blanket disclosure, right? Everything I'm going to say, check your local real estate law. Okay. Check to make sure that this is in compliance with your local real estate law. I hold no responsibility if this is outside of what your particular state allows. But for many of you out there listening, this will be in compliance with your state, because the form that I'm about to explain to you is put together by none other but than, for us, the Florida Board of Realtors, right? This is their approved form. So it's absolutely utilizable here in the state of Florida. And I'm willing to bet in most states. But again, just double check in your state, your real estate law allows for this, right? All we're talking about here is a commission agreement, okay? Now, here's the thing about a commission agreement. If you think about it, a listing agreement is basically a commission agreement on steroids. It's basically, I agree to pay you, broker or agent XYZ, or your company XYZ, if you sell property at XYZ price during XYZ, term, right? Fair. But what if you were to take a commission agreement and you added a little bit of juice to it, right? So like that's the perfect case scenario, and it gives your company the exclusive right to represent them, right? That's obviously, king of the castle, top of the hill. That's the best thing you can get. But what if you could get something that's 90% as good? And here's what I mean. When you follow my wink, wink process, what you're going to do is you're going to set up a commission agreement that allows you to be paid a particular commission on a particular price point so long as with any buyer or buyer represented by a broker that you bring, okay, during a certain amount of time period. Now, if you think about it, like we discussed before, if knowing that LoopNet, CoStar, Crexi, and your blast list are are going to basically be where 90% of the buyers are going to come from, guess what? If you have the right to put yourself up on those platforms as the exclusive or as the listing agent, and you can't have two properties on LoopNet at the same time or on CoStar or on Crexi for that matter, right? If you have the right to do that, guess what you have effectively done? You've blocked out 90% of the agents, because if those are the 4 channels that 90% of the buyers come from, guess what? You got a 90% chance better than everybody else that you're going to be the one to sell it, so long as it sells, right? So what I recommend you do is get yourself a commission agreement. Have it state that, and then I'm going to show you the agreement that we use here in the state of Florida, and you can model one after yours. In fact, you could probably take this and chop off the Florida Board of Realtors, and it'll probably be pretty close to compliant in your state. Again, check your local state license laws. I'm not responsible for any license laws. I can't possibly know all state license laws for all 50 states. But the point remains, if you can get a commission agreement, which is basically just an agreement between 2 parties to agree at a certain price at a certain point for a certain property within a certain time period, guess what? That's what's 99% or 90% as good as an exclusive listing. Now, here's what the one part that saves you. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what this looks like, and then we'll walk through it, and then you'll see where some of the magic is, and then I'll give you a couple of scripts with regard to like the way you deliver this to the seller, right? So guys, if you like subjects like this, if you're looking for more tactical, practical ways of managing your listings, becoming a better listing agent, or becoming a listing agent for that matter, okay, go ahead and comment below. Reach out to us. We're at www.darkhorse-cretraining.com. We have video blogs with all kinds of interesting stuff. Go ahead and click below on some of the links. Join our Facebook group at www.commercialsalesforagents.com. And of course, be sure to subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube, or follow us if you're looking at watching the podcast on other places, right? But if you're looking for important stuff like this and you want to see it time after time after time, or if you're looking for an actual training program to take you from where you are to where you want to be, go ahead and follow us and reach out, and we'll be sure to get on the phone. But that being said, let's go take a look at what this listing agreement looks like. Rather, what I should say, it's a commission agreement, but it'll serve as what I call the wink-wink listing agreement. Okay. So now, if you can see this, it's a little bit tough on the desk here, but basically what it comes down to, right? You have the seller, fill in the seller. Okay. You have, in this case, it's me, Christian N. Peter at Dark Horse Commercial Broker. Will show diligent effort to sell property located at and the property. Okay. And the 2, and then I just put prospects brought through brokers' marketing efforts. You leave it very vague. The more vague you are, the more helpful it is for you. Okay. So it's just any sort of prospects brought through the marketing efforts. And by the way, as an aside, folks, the fact that this is a 1-page document, okay, I recommend you keep them in whatever folder you bring to a listing agreement. To a listing presentation, because in the event they don't want to sign your exclusive, this is the next best thing. And oftentimes, because it's a 1-pager and it's very, very short, you can get this signed right then, right there. Okay. Then it has right here, either for a dollar amount, there's a checkbox. For a percentage, I put 6% of the gross purchase price of the property. Okay, cool. And then basically it's a very short thing. It says seller/landlord will pay broker's fee in the event of sale, at time of closing, in the event of lease, at time of lease execution. Broker fee is due on an executed sales contract, and agrees that prospect blah, 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 blah. Any litigation arising shall be blah, 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 blah. But the point is, folks, what this is saying is seller and broker agree that anyone brought for such and such address, and it's any prospect brought through the broker's marketing efforts, they get a 6% fee. Okay. And then it's within 180 days. So you give yourself 6 months. Okay. Additional terms, and this is where the real kicker is, folks. This does not constitute a listing agreement. For those sellers that are gun shy, this is some language you have to put in there, right? Is that way they don't say, well, I'm getting trapped. No. This is merely a commission agreement. Okay. It is what this says is this does not constitute a listing agreement. It's merely a guarantee of commission due in the event of a sale. Now, this is where the rubber meets the road. This is the most important part right here, folks. Seller grants broker permission to promote property online and through email blasts. Leave it very, very vague. Online, that could mean anything. That means you email somebody, it means you blast to somebody, it means LoopNet, CoStar, Crexi. It could mean anything. But if you leave it nice and vague, right, you're still covering yourself. You're still ensuring that you have on paper, right? Because so many of us get these pocket listings, and at the end of the day, a pocket listing isn't that great because you have no guarantee that if you're going to bring a buyer, that you're actually going to get paid. This will reinforce that. Okay, this will, by all means, this will reinforce your agreement between the seller and make them think twice before trying to pull anything fast. What else it means is that you can advertise to other agents, because if you can only advertise to your blast list, you're definitely hamstrung, as opposed to being able to list it to thousands of agents out there that are working with buyers, and they all might know 1, 2, 3 buyers. So you can see how the exponential effect of being able to reach out to brokers as well. Okay, so now here's the cool part, right? So how do you sell this, right? But that's the question. So that's the agreement is very, very simple. It's a 1-page agreement. Okay, and it states all the necessary information, and it allows you to go ahead and list it online or promote it or market it online. Okay, but here's the most important part. Mr. Seller says, hey, listen, Christian, great presentation, but you know what? I'm just really not looking to list anything exclusive. You bring me somebody, I'll be happy to pay you commission. Okay, not a problem. Okay, so Mr. Seller, what you're telling me is that, like, if I can get you the price that you're looking for, you're happy to pay a 6% fee? Absolutely. Okay, great. Mr. Seller, I want to get you the most amount of money possible for your property. Okay, but in order to do that, I have to put it in front of the largest audience possible. And you and I, we're good. I have no doubt that you're going to pay me a commission, right? But the problem is, in order for me to put it in front of the widest audience possible, what I need to do is I need to leverage the brokerage community. I have 2,500 brokers in my database, right? And they all know 2 or 3 buyers. So I want to be able to leverage them. And unfortunately, you and I, we have a handshake agreement, no issues. I know that we would never have problems. But other brokers bringing buyers, oftentimes they won't even submit an offer unless they know that there's a commission agreement in place, or a guarantee of commission. So what I have here, right, it's a very simple 1-page document here. And if we can, all it does, and then you read them right through it, boom, 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 boom. All it does is say that you and I are engaging in this commission agreement only if I go through and find you a buyer for the price that we specify for this address, and it's 6%. And all it says is that I have the right to advertise online. Is that fair enough? And folks, I cannot tell you how many times this just right then and there, like, oh yeah, that makes sense, sure, sign it. Most people will sign it. More than 50% will sign it. And the beauty of it is you're blocking 90% of all the other channels out by being able to get on LoopNet, CoStar, and Crexi, because they agreed in writing that you can advertise through email blasts and online. With me? Okay. So you can utilize this. When can you utilize this, right? You can utilize it when they say, I don't want to do an exclusive. You can utilize it when they say, just bring me a buyer and I'll pay you a commission. You can utilize this when they give you any host of excuses that keeps them from wanting to give you the exclusive. If they say, let me think about it, maybe we'll sell it a month from now. Well, Mr. Seller, if I brought you someone that would pay $1.5 million today, would you sell it? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, great. So why don't we do this? Why don't we just sign a commission agreement? And then you go into the whole spiel of leveraging, because whenever someone says, I want to think about it, it means they're not ready to make the decision then and there. But if they're willing to say, yeah, I'll guarantee you a commission, it's a lot smaller of an ask, but it's 90% of the strength of an exclusive listing agreement. With me, folks? Okay. So if you guys found this helpful and you're looking for other tips like this alone, with one deal closed, okay, you might double end it, you might only get half, but one deal alone, this could put $20,000, $30,000, $50,000, $100,000 in your pocket. Folks, this is the tactical practical of listing agents and what they need to know, and what the moves they need to do, and the strategies and everything they need to do. So if you found this helpful, go ahead and do us a favor. Go ahead and follow us. Go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go ahead and make sure that you are in the know, and even join our Facebook group at www.commercialsalesforagents.com, or check us out at www.darkhorse-cretraining.com. There we have an explanation of our 6-month training program. We have a video blog with all kinds of resources like this. And for your own sake, folks, make sure every day you're always expanding your knowledge, because the more you earn, the more you learn, the more you earn. Okay. So thank you so much for hanging in there. Thank you for being here on this brief little journey. I hope you take this and immediately implement it, because information without implementation doesn't do anything. It doesn't put a dime in your pocket. But the second you start, and take that information that I teach you and that I share with you, and you start to implement it, wow, just the possibilities are endless. If you only closed one deal a year for the rest of your career, what's that going to be? 10, 15, 20 deals, right? So hope you take this and implement it, folks, and we'd be happy to interact with you and explain a little bit more about our coaching if there's any way we can help you. Have a great day.